Let me ask you something. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when the time is right? How many times have you waited for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect opportunity, and where has that gotten you? Let me tell you the truth. The perfect moment, it's a lie. It doesn't exist. Your brain will always find reasons to delay. It will tell you that you need more time, more knowledge, more resources, more confidence. But the only thing you're really doing, you're giving yourself permission to stay stuck, because every second you wait is a second you lose. Every excuse you make is another step away from your dreams. The people who succeed, the people who dominate in life, they don't wait for the perfect moment. They make the moment perfect by taking action. You've got to break the cycle of hesitation. You've got to stop letting fear, doubt, and overthinking steal your future. The time to act is not tomorrow, it's not next week, it's now. Because life doesn't wait, success doesn't wait, and neither should you. The perfect moment is an illusion. Waiting only leads to missed opportunities. The idea of waiting for the perfect time is one of the most dangerous traps you can fall into. It's comforting, right? You convince yourself that all the stars need to align, that you need everything to be just right before you make your move. But here's the truth. The perfect moment doesn't exist. No matter how much you plan, no matter how much you think you need more time or resources, there will always be something you feel is missing. The longer you wait for everything to fall into place, the more time you waste. And by the time you feel ready, the opportunity might have already passed. What you may not realize is that waiting for the perfect moment is just another form of procrastination. It's fear masked as logic. Your mind will tell you that you're being strategic, that you're just waiting for the right conditions. But what you're really doing is avoiding discomfort. You're waiting for a time when everything feels safe, when the risks are minimal, and when you feel like you're fully prepared. But that time will never come. There will never be a moment when you feel 100% ready to take a leap. In reality, waiting for the perfect moment only holds you back. Every day that you delay taking action is a day you could have used to get closer to your goals. The world is constantly changing, and opportunities don't wait around for you to get your act together. The longer you wait for everything to be perfect, the more likely it is that someone else will step up and take action, leaving you behind. Successful people don't wait for the perfect conditions. They create their own opportunities by taking action now. When you act, you create the momentum that brings clarity. The more you step out and start moving toward your goals, the more you learn and the more you grow. You'll never have all the answers and you'll never have the perfect plan, but what you will have is progress. The first step you take might not be the one you expected, and the path may not look like you thought it would. But every step forward brings you closer to your destination. The perfect moment is an illusion because success is built on progress, not perfection. When you wait for everything to align perfectly, you're ignoring the fact that success doesn't require perfection. It requires action, persistence, and the willingness to adapt along the way. Every successful person has faced challenges, made mistakes, and experienced failures. But they didn't let those things stop them. They kept moving forward. They learned from every misstep, adjusted their approach, and kept taking action. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They took the moment they had and made it work. The only thing standing between you and your goals is the belief that you need everything to be perfect before you start. You don't need to wait any longer. Start where you are with what you have and build from there. The moment to act is now. Stop waiting and start moving. You'll find that the perfect moment arrives the moment you decide to make it happen. Action creates momentum. Small steps forward are more powerful than endless planning. Too often, people get caught up in the idea that they need everything figured out before they start. They spend weeks, months, or even years planning, strategizing, and imagining the ideal circumstances, all the while avoiding any real progress. But here's the truth. The moment you take action, everything starts to change. It doesn't matter how small the action is. It's the act of moving forward that creates momentum. You can plan all you want, but nothing beats real experience. When you take that first step, no matter how insignificant it may seem, you break the inertia. That's when the magic happens. As soon as you make the decision to act, you begin to see things differently. You encounter obstacles, face challenges, and make mistakes. But all of that is part of the process. Action gives you feedback, and feedback gives you direction. You start to understand what works and what doesn't. You refine your approach, adjust your strategy, and most importantly, you begin to build momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in achieving success. Once it starts, it becomes easier to keep moving forward. The more action you take, the more natural it becomes to keep going. The key to building momentum is consistency. It's not about taking one massive leap toward your goal. It's about taking consistent, incremental steps. Small actions done every day compound over time and create massive results. The person who takes small steps toward their goal every day is far more likely to succeed than the person who spends all their energy planning and perfecting but never takes any real action. Momentum comes from doing, not thinking. People often get stuck in the trap of perfectionism, thinking that they need to wait for the right time or that they need to have everything figured out before they begin. But what they fail to realize is that perfectionism is the enemy of progress. The pursuit of perfection leads to procrastination. It paralyzes you into inaction. Waiting for the perfect plan or the perfect conditions will keep you stuck indefinitely. The key is to take action, regardless of how imperfect or uncertain things may seem. Even the smallest step forward is progress. Action also builds confidence. Every time you take a step forward, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Even when things don't go as planned, the mere act of trying build your resilience and strengthens your belief in your ability to succeed. When you focus on taking action rather than obsessing over outcomes, you start to trust yourself more. You become less afraid of failure because you realize that every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. The truth is, the longer you wait to act, the harder it becomes. The fear of failure, the doubt, the overthinking, it all builds up and makes it harder to take that first step. But once you begin, you start to realize that momentum doesn't require perfection. It only requires action. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Don't wait for the stars to align. Start now. The momentum you create today will carry you forward tomorrow. Fear and doubt will always exist. Successful people act despite uncertainty. Every goal, every dream, every new endeavor comes with an element of fear. It's natural. It's human. No matter how big or small the challenge, there will always be moments of uncertainty. But here's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. Successful people don't let fear stop them. They feel the fear, they acknowledge it, and they act anyway. It's not about waiting for the fear to disappear or hoping for all the doubts to fade. It's about moving forward, even when those feelings are present. Fear, in many ways, a built-in mechanism that holds us back from danger. But when it comes to personal growth and success, it's often a barrier that exists only in our minds. Fear is mostly about the unknown, the things we can't control. We fear failure, rejection, making mistakes, and we fear not being good enough. These fears are all based on what could happen, not on what actually will happen. And the truth is, those fears rarely ever come true. Even when they do, it isn't the end of the road. It's simply a stepping stone to learning and growing. Doubt, on the other hand, often comes from within. It's the voice in your head that tells you that you're not capable, that you don't have the skills, or that you'll never succeed. It's the belief that your dreams are too big or that others are better suited for success. Doubt is powerful and it can cripple you if you let it. But the key is recognizing that doubt is just a part of the process. Everyone experiences it, and every successful person has doubted themselves at some point. What matters is how you respond to it. You can either let it paralyze you or you can use it as fuel to push you further. What sets successful people apart is their ability to act despite their fears and doubts. They don't wait for perfect confidence before taking the first step. They don't wait for all the pieces to fall into place. Instead, they start anyway, and by doing so, they build the courage and confidence they need along the way. Every small step forward gives them more clarity and lessens the grip of fear and doubt. As they act, they realize that they're stronger than they thought and more capable than they believed. In fact, many times it's the very act of doing that quiets the fear. Once you take that first step and see that you're still standing, that the world didn't end, you begin to understand that fear is just an illusion. It doesn't control you unless you allow it to. The more you push past it, the more you realize that it has no power over you. Fear will always be a part of the journey. It will show up at different times in different forms, but the more you practice taking action despite the fear, the easier it becomes. Eventually, you'll find that your confidence grows in direct proportion to the amount of action you take. The key is not to wait for fear and doubt to disappear. They won't. The key is to take action in spite of them, knowing that on the other side of that fear is your success, your growth, and your true potential. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. Embrace discomfort as a sign of progress. The comfort zone is a place where everything feels safe, predictable, and familiar. It's a place where you can go through the motions day in and day out without having to face anything that challenges you. But here's the catch. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It's easy to stay comfortable, to stay in the same routine, to avoid anything that might disrupt the status quo. But if you want to grow, if you want to achieve something greater, you need to step outside of that bubble. True growth happens when you challenge yourself, when you push yourself to do the things that make you uncomfortable. And discomfort is the key to progress. It's the feeling of fear, uncertainty, and stretching beyond your limits. It's that feeling in your stomach when you take on something new, when you start a project that you're not sure you'll succeed in. Discomfort is the feeling you get when you try something that's out of your skill set or when you face a challenge that seems bigger than you. Most people run from discomfort. They avoid it at all costs because it feels risky, it feels unsafe, and it feels vulnerable. But here's the truth. Discomfort is a sign that you're growing. It's a sign that you're moving towards something bigger, something more significant. It's a signal that you're stepping into new territory, and that new territory is where all the magic happens. When you step outside of your comfort zone, you begin to discover new things about yourself. You find strengths you didn't know you had, abilities you didn't know were possible, and potential you didn't know was there. Every challenge you face and every uncomfortable moment you experience teaches you something valuable. And every time you push through that discomfort, you get stronger. Your confidence grows, your resilience builds, and you start to develop the skills necessary to tackle even bigger challenges. Without discomfort, there's no growth. But here's the challenge. Most people don't want to face discomfort. It's easier to stay in your comfort zone, to avoid risk, and to stick with what you know. The problem is, nothing extraordinary ever comes from staying in that zone. If you want to achieve something different, something greater, you have to be willing to step into the unknown. That's where the breakthroughs happen. That's where new opportunities, new skills, and new possibilities emerge. But you can't access any of that by staying where you are. You have to move forward, even if it's uncomfortable. It's not easy to embrace discomfort. It's natural to resist it, to feel afraid, or to doubt yourself. But successful people have learned to view discomfort differently. Instead of seeing it as something to fear, they see it as a sign that they are on the right path. Discomfort is an indicator that you're challenging yourself, that you're on the verge of something new and exciting. The more you embrace it, the easier it becomes to push through. Growth is uncomfortable, but it's also necessary. Without discomfort, there's no change. Without discomfort, there's no progress. If you want to take your life to the next level, you have to learn to embrace discomfort as part of the process. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you're one step closer to becoming the person you're meant to be. Failure's feedback. Learning from mistakes is the fastest path to success. Many people view failure as the end of the road, a sign that they're not good enough, that their efforts weren't enough, or that they're simply not cut out for success. But what if I told you that failure isn't the end at all? In fact, failure is one of the most valuable tools for success. It's not something to fear, avoid, or be ashamed of. Failure is simply feedback, a chance to learn, grow, and improve. When you fail, you're not failing as a person. What you're failing at is the method or approach you've taken. That's an important distinction. Failure is not a reflection of your worth or potential. It's just a result of trying something new and discovering that the way you approached it didn't work. And here's the most important part. That feedback is invaluable. It gives you information. It tells you what to avoid next time and what adjustments you need to make. Every time you fail, you are getting one step closer to success, because you've gained new insights that will help you succeed in the future. The idea that failure is bad or something to be avoided is one of the most damaging misconceptions. The truth is, failure is part of the process. It's part of the journey to mastering anything. Think about the most successful people in the world. They didn't get to where they are by avoiding failure. They got there by failing, learning, and trying again. Each failure added to their experience, made them wiser, and brought them closer to their goals. The more you fail, the more you learn. The more you learn, the closer you get to success. One of the biggest mistakes people make is fearing failure so much that they don't even try. They think that failing will mean they're not good enough, so they never take the risk of starting. But here's the truth. Not trying at all is the biggest failure of all. If you're not willing to fail, you're not willing to grow, you're not willing to reach your potential, and you're certainly not willing to succeed. The road to success is full of failures, and it's that very road that leads to greatness. Every time you fail, you're gaining experience that will serve you in the future. Even if something doesn't work out the way you planned, it's a step forward. The key is not to dwell on the failure, but to analyze it, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? Instead of seeing failure as a setback, view it as a stepping stone. With each failure, you refine your approach, get better, and become more prepared for the next challenge. Success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about learning how to use failure to your advantage. It's about recognizing that failure is part of the process and that it's necessary for growth. You can't skip over failure and go straight to success. It's the price you pay for achievement. So the next time you fail, don't be discouraged. Instead, embrace it. Use it as an opportunity to learn, adjust, and come back stronger. Success is not a straight path. It's a winding road filled with detours, obstacles, and failures. The more you fail, the closer you get to the success you desire.